Preparation for the perilous journey to Shadowlands. Monks return to the Peak of Serenity to study, train, and hone their skills. Several abilities from the original version of the class. Oh, I'm so excited to read this. Alright. Oh my god. Monks were probably one of the coolest class ever introduced in Mist of Pandaria. I'm super excited to read this. Monk class and specialization changes. General changes. Expel Harm is coming back from what it looks like every single class. Or every single spec. Fortifying Brew, every single spec. Spinning Crane Kick, Touch of Death. What? Are now available for all monks to use? I could Touch of Death someone as a Mistweaver. Additionally, Touch of Death returns to its original design, killing an enemy with less health than the monk. Oh. So the original design was when they hit 10% HP, you could instantly kill them if they have less health than you. By that, it means you can't kill like a raid boss. So, like, if someone has 20 million HP and you have 200,000 HP, you can't Touch of Death them and kill them instantly. But Expel Harm coming back, that was a vital filler. I hate to say the word filler, but it was vital in the rotation of Mistweavers back in the day. The other two are a little bit irrelevant. Fortifying Brew is now longer not going to be an honor talent for Windwalker monks, which is fantastic. I personally like the old Touch of Death better than the new Touch of Death. I feel like the new Touch of Death is kind of like, oh, I press it, you know exactly when you're going to take damage. Old Touch of Death is boom, you get to 10%. If you try and get greedy, you drop yourself low, I'm going to drop you. Pretty awesome. I am very, very excited to see this. All three specializations will be able to summon their Celestial to the battlefield. I don't know which one's mine. Oh, Invoke Yulon, the Jade Serpent. Okay, I'm not 100% sure. Previously a talent, so maybe this is just the stat. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work, but I remember popping, like, the Tiger back in Mop, and it was really, really sick. Curious to read more about that. Brewmaster, I'm going to be honest, I really, really, really don't care about this. Oh, you can choose between two one-handed. That's interesting. Brewmasters also have a returning passive Shuffle, which increases the amount of physical damage staggered. Don't really care about that. Oh, let's actually see this. All Brewmaster Monk will be able to use Invoke Nuazo, the Black Ox, previously a talent, to help shoulder the damage. Deals damage based on stagger, damage purified. For Brewmaster Monks, not only does Touch of Death instantly kill any creature with less health than the monk, but it also clears stagger. That's fine. Didn't really tell me anything about this. Whatever. All Mistweaver Monks will be able to use Invoke Yulon, the Jade Serpent, to summon the Celestial, who heals allies with Celestial Breath and spawns healing spheres. This happened before. This was like a talent or something. When you like Thunder Focus T or something. In Legion, you like Thunder Focus T, and it like breathed like healing or something. Will spawn healing spheres for their allies. Invoke Chiji, the Red Crane, returns as a talent choice. This is already there. Wait, strengthening their physical damage moderately and healing their allies for part of the damage inflicted on enemies. Oh, so this is like kind of like Way of the Crane, but oh, Invoke Chiji, the Red Crane. Oh, this is Way of the Crane. What the hell? Chiji also makes Mistweaver Monks immune to movement pairing. Oh, this is literally Way of the Crane, but it's just called Invoke Chiji, the Red Crane. So Way of the Crane is now going to be a regular talent, which is nice, so you can use it in PvE. I like it. I'm happy about that. I kind of wish I understood more about this, but whatever. Choose between... Oh my god, what the hell? You can use a two-hander on Windwalker Monks. That's interesting. So it really feels like Blizzard wants to give you the choice on how to build your character. I like that. All Windwalker Monks will be able to call upon a powerful ally. Fight side by side, Tiger dealing damage, recently attacked. Shadowlands, Wild Gods freely wander the woods. Dance of Chiji, the new talent, monitors chance. This is literally just a whatever. Yeah, Paladin. Paladins tap into its holy power. Is that a like a play on words to say the holy power is coming back? The original version of Paladins several categories of spells. Blessing Aura, we feel like not all of these categories of spells make sense for the modern game, having those categories defined in the Paladin class. We want to restore that feeling of shared spell categories and unification of the Paladin system, and the restoration of several iconic abilities, including auras. Wonderful, I like that. While a few of these abilities are situationally utility, they play well into the Paladin's archetype as a Holy Avenger of the Bane and the Undead. Blessing and Sacrifice, Hammer of Wrath coming back for all specs. I like that. Sense Undead, whatever. Shield of the Righteousness. I don't even know what that's going to do. Turn Evil. This was a iconic ability that Paladins had back in the day to avoid getting spell locked. And Word of Glory. Wow. I like that ability a lot on Paladin. Oh my god, for every spec. Okay. Alright. I like what I see. Holy Power returns as a resource for all Paladins. Now, I'm going to tell you what, guys. I generally am not a fan of multiple resources. But I feel like they did a great job with it on Monks back in the day with Chi and with Mana. And I feel like, honestly, it worked well for Paladin. I feel like Holy Power for Paladin worked. So I don't mind seeing it back. I don't know if this is something that Holy Paladins actually want. But yeah. Abilities such as Crusader Strike, Hammer, Wrath, Grand Holy Power, which can be, you know, whatever, including Word of Glory, Shield of Righteous. So it says including Word of Glory and Shield of Righteous, but the fact of the matter is, like, you kind of hope to have more options than 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, okay, I do a heal with this resource, or I do a damage with this resource. If it comes down to, it's like, I have this entire set of resources, and I have 2 options, and it's not quite as good. You know what I'm saying? These are still general changes, by the way. R is the Safeguard Concentration R, reducing duration of interrupts and silences. Wow, that's a big deal. Reducing duration of silences and interrupts. Wow. Wow, Paladins. We haven't seen something like this in a really long time, but just straight up reducing the duration of being interrupted and silenced is insane. A redesigned Retribution R allows Paladins to avenge fallen allies with a short burst of avenging wrath. Interesting. Crusader and Devotion Rs are also available to Paladins. Interesting. Okay. All Paladins will have access to more talents that allow them to manipulate and spend Holy Power, which is literally what I said already. Fantastic. Divine Purpose Talent will be available for all Paladins to select. Standardized for all specialization, allowing their abilities to spend Holy Power to have a decent chance to make the next Holy Power spending ability free. Increases damage or healing. Holy Avenger allows the generation of huge bursts of Holy Power in a short window. Pretty sure that used to exist back in the day. I don't feel like it reads in this last sentence. Glimmer of Light. Azure Trade Glimmer of Light moves to a space and 50 row talent, which is fine. Existing options. Like, competing with powerful existing options such as Beacon of Faith. Oh, okay, whatever. R Master continues to give Paladins a unique ability to give any R. Sure. Protection, no one really cares about. Darkest Places with the Shadowlands inspire Retribution Paladins to perform Valorous acts. The name of the Light, Wake of Ashes, is available to all Retribution Paladins instead of needing to be picked up as a talent. Fair enough. Wake of Ashes is really cool. Allowing these Holy Warriors to vanquish evil with the blow so powerful. It damages all foes close to it. Sure. Demon and Undead further crippled. That's cool. I don't really know if this matters at all, but sure. Alright, so this is something that one of the game designers was very interested in hearing the feedback about, so I'm excited to look at Priest. What else we have left? Priest, Rogue, Shaman, Warlock. Wait, did I not do Warrior? Oh, wow. We actually still have so many classes left, man. I feel like there's so much in here, and this is literally just alpha. Like, this is really good news. Can I move the camera? Is this better? That make you guys happier? Sorry. Priests call upon the light to heal their friends and tap into the void to eradicate their enemies. In recent expansions, priest specialization became polarized around these two ideas, with Holy and Shadow tapping only into the respective schools of power. In Shadowlands, we want to move back into a world where even though a Holy Priest excels in the connection with light, they're still able to harness some of the Shadow magic to deal with foes. This is one of, in my opinion, the worst things they ever did to priests was make it feel really, really, what they said, polarized on just that one specialization. It feels like, you know, Disc was a spec that kind of had it all, and it got ripped apart. So I'm really excited to see what they do here. General changes. Mind Blast, Mind Soothe, Power Infusion, which is insane. Shadow or Death and Shadow or Pain will be available for all priests to use regardless of specialization. There's one thing that I'm not seeing here that genuinely already makes me upset, is Disc Priest not having Prayer of Mending and not having Renew. Those two are a game changer for me. And I don't think I will rest until Disc Priest has that. But Mind Blast coming back is fantastic. Especially for a Disc Priest. I mean, Disc Priests in PvP right now are literally like if you get kicked on one tree, you cast the other tree. So having an additional option to cast when you get interrupted is wonderful. Power Infusion could be insane. Can I Power Infusion my partners? Does it only work on me? Is it going to be a damage increase? Is it going to be good for mana? I'm not sure. Shadow Word Death coming back. Is this old school Shadow Word Death where you take damage, or is this new school Shadow Word Death where you only deal damage? Is it going to replace Premonition? I'm not 100%. It says so right there. Oh, I'm not. I didn't go down yet. But yeah. Shadow Word Pain will be available all priests, so this is once again good for Holy. Additionally, Power Infusion can now be cast on allies. Boom. Love to see it. Disciplined priests are mastered balancing forces of light and changes of Shadowlands cover both ends of the spectrum. Light Crest is a new talent that most powerful disciples of light can use, enabling disciplined priests to heal their allies by blessing them with Power Barrier and healing them again if they're still under the barrier when it expires. I have no idea if that's going to be good or not, whatever. Disciplined priests who still dare to learn the darker magics can learn Shadow Covenant. This reimagined talent instantly heals a chosen hero and 4 other injured allies, and moderately increases the damage the priest deals for a short period of time, during which they cannot cast any holy spells. Wow, that's actually really interesting. That is a way cooler design in my opinion. So it doesn't put up the healing reduction on them, but it instantly heals them and then kind of makes you deal more damage. Pretty cool. Mind Blast will provide a powerful burst of damage and atonement healing along with an absorption shield for a significant mana cost. Ooh, okay. Holy, Protective Veil, Shadowlands. Circle of Healing is now baseline spell. I think that's fine. I don't really know too much about Holy. Freeing it up as talent. Prayer of Circle and Power Circle Healing reduces the cast time. This seems pretty boring, honestly. There's like no changes to Holy. Shadow Priest will learn how to ascend to the peak of their power. Death and Madness. Each time a target dies after being slain with Shadow or Death, Shadow Priest gains a substantial amount of insanity over a few seconds. Which is probably better. I don't really know too much about Shadow, but probably better in the long term for doing dungeons and stuff. So instead of getting a big burst of insanity back, it kind of generates insanity over time, which maybe helps you stay in Shadow form for longer. Surrender Madness returns with a wicked twist. On use, the Shadow Priest instantly gains a huge spike of insanity and casts Void Eruption on the target. Over a long duration, insanity generating abilities grant 100% more insanity and cast your spells while moving. However, the spell comes at a terrible price. If the caster fails to slay their target during the buff window, they succumb to the shadows and die. I'm pretty sure this is just old Shadow thing. So, Disc Priest, I like to see Death coming back, just from a damage standpoint. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to, oh, you can survive it now? Literally, oh, can you survive it? I didn't read that. Oh, if you kill someone, you survive. Okay, whatever. I like Power Infusion coming back. I think that's awesome. I think that's great utility. I like Death coming back. I wonder if you're going to be actually Shadow or Death abilities, or you're going to have to, or if you're going to have to actually still spec into Premonition, which I think is the worst option. So I kind of hope it's old Shadow or Death. Mind Blast, a huge burst of damage and atonement healing along with an absorption shield, which is interesting. I'm not 100% sure what that's going to be. But it costs a significant amount of mana, and we know that priests have been struggling with mana recently, so we'll have to see how that's going to work. Also curious to see how Power Infusion is going to work. Alright, so Rogue. Throughout WoW's history, Rogues have always had a broad utility toolkit for damage, control, and survivability. At least Blizzard knows it. No kidding. But during the development of Legion, we felt the need to distinguish each of the specs from each other and give them a unique identity. This resulted us in dividing up much of the core rogue kit amongst the 3 specializations, making it feel a bit thinner than before. Shadowlands are working to correct this problem by restoring many iconic rogue traits to the base class while preserving much of what's novel about each specialization. Alright, sure. General changes. The 3 specializations of rogue share the teachings they've learned while mastering their vicious skills. Assassin teach the basics of poisons, allowing subtlety and outlaw to once again coat their blade with instant crippling and numbing poisons. Wonderful. The lost art of Shiv in a target's side allows a concentrated version of poison to infect the target for a short period of time. Wonderful. Pickpocket will frequently uncover no one cares about pickpocket. Assassination rogues continue their master of poisons with their returning Shiv ability. It says this is a general change though, so increased nature damage. Okay, so Shiv is different. Wait, read pickpocket. What the hell? Can we mix into their Crimson Vial, augmenting its power? Oh, it's actually interesting. I wonder what that can do. Augmenting its power. I wonder if it could do different stuff. Okay, so Shiv is going to be different for assassination than the other specs, providing a moment of increased damage, nature damage on the victim, mirroring the gameplay of Toxic Blade. Okay, their poisons will be stronger and apply their blades faster than other rogues, along with infecting targets when attacking from stealth. Assassination once again had access to ambush. I don't know if we're going to see much of that, but hopefully we can if it does a proper amount of damage. Blindside, chain, assassination give chance to allow access to ambush even while it's stealth with a higher chance on lower health targets. Wait. Okay. So basically, you could proc ambushes out of stealth. So we'll have to see how much damage it does. Shiv gets access to another upgrade through Toxic Blade, reducing its cooldown and provide more frequent assaults of increased nature damage. Fair enough. That might be good against higher armor targets or something like that. Moving into Outlaw. Ever resourceful and hungry for an edge, Outlaw rogues have traded in the combo point requirement for Roll the Bones for a modifiable cooldown, which can be manipulated to line up with staggering finishing moves. Frantic Combat will reduce the cooldown of Roll the Bones through Restless Blades by spending combo points. Kidney Shot returns to Outlaw's toolkit between the eyes, making their foes more susceptible to the critical strikes instead of stunning them. Honestly, this is a Outlaw loss in my opinion, not having the range stun. But sure. Evasion returns to Outlaw's defensive ability with the post becoming an upgraded talent option. Sure. Also increase the speed of Rogue's grappling hook, getting them where they need to be faster. Tractable hook. Fair enough. Always looking for an advantage in combat. Also, rogues have mastered the art of Find Weakness, a talent. Attracting from stealth. Bypass armor. Additional damage. Struck by Eviscerate. Find Weakness can also mark a large number of targets when needed to set up for the new area effect finisher, Shadow Volt, which also assaults targets with the Find Weakness for additional shadow damage. Shadow Dance gains the power of Dark Shadows, previously a talent. Increase all damage active and costs less frequent dancing. At the cost of less frequent dancing. Rupture returns as subtleties damage over time bleed, finish move instead of the Shadowy Nightblade. However, they'll still have access to movement speed reduction and healing reduction through the wound and crippling poison. Fair enough. I don't really like Rupture and Shadowblade. You know, you hide the name of it, and it's the same thing, right? But you're gonna have your poisons back for your movement reduction. You're gonna have your wound poison back for your healing reduction, which is honestly gonna make rogues pretty fucking scary in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie. Right now, I think subtlety is lacking a bigger MS. I feel like Outlaw's lacking the MS, so it could definitely be nice to have that back for those classes. Alright, Shaman is a class. Shaman Shaman have long had some of the most distinctive categories of spells in the game. Totems, shocks, shields, weapon imbues, and chain spells. But over time, some have become the domain of specific specialization. In Shadowlands, we're giving these type of abilities back to the entire class. As a player, level up, they'll be exposed to many ways the Shaman can interact with the elements and overcome challenges. Over time, Shaman will discover which of these tools they have strongest affinity for, and which abilities they like to focus on as they master the elemental forces. In Shadowlands, Chain Heal, Chain Lightning, Healing Stream Totem, Flame Tongue Weapon, Flame Shock, Frost Shock, and Lightning Shield will be available for all Shaman to use regardless of their specialization. Searing Totem also returns as an ability for all Shaman to use, which bombards nearby enemies with fireballs for a short duration. Okay. Kind of curious to see how much damage Searing Totem will actually do, but I'm happy to have Searing Totem back. Chain Heal is useless for Resto, but good for the other two. Chain Lightning is useless for Ellie and Resto, but when I say useless, I mean it already has, so Enhancement gets that back. Healing Stream Totem is actually a nice add for Enhance and Resto, in my opinion. Flame Tongue Weapon in the current state is really weird. Flame Tongue Weapon as enhancement right now just makes your attacks deal like fire damage, but it's like a really like short duration. I don't know. Flame Shock coming back for enhancement I think is probably gonna be pretty nice. Also Frost Shock for enhancement, I don't know if they have that. Frost Shock for Resto is also pretty nice. I must admit I'm pretty happy to have that back. Can't complain there. And Lightning Shield, this is a really weird one. I don't know how much damage Lightning Shield is going to cost. Excuse me, how much damage it's going to do. But maybe there's a chance that if you're training like a shaman, they can maybe like hurt you with lightning shield and searing totem and maybe shocks if shocks do damage. I'm not sure. Elemental. Wait a second. Excuse me. What I want to see right here in these general changes is that grounding totem needs to become available for all the specs again. I think it's absolutely ridiculous that it's an honor talent. Probably my biggest complaint right now with the general changes. I think me having the spec in a grounding totem is just ridiculous. So there's that. The Maelstrom resource and accompanying bar has been removed. Whoa. Returning elemental shamans to their former cooldown management playstyle. When we added Maelstrom to shamans in Legion, we wanted to improve affordance around the use of Earthshock and Earthquake in their rotation, but the addition of the resource has the side effect of converting the spec with builder/spender abilities, which comes with a certain build and expectation of the payoff of its spenders. When an elemental shaman presses Earthshock and it consumes most of their resource, the expectation is that the moment is the peak of their rotation, and there should be a huge payoff. But we want to focus on the rotation to be about managing your Flame Shock debuff on multiple targets to maximize the potential Lava Burst through the Lava Surge procs, Lightning Bolt, and consequently, I don't even know what that is, Earthshock. Consequently, okay. Are meant to be a flavorful but secondary part of the single rotation. As such as we are returning design that relies on building stacks of fulmination. Okay, determine whether to insert Earthshock into one rotation, or into the rotation. Similarly, Chain Lightning and stacks of Seismic Thunder. Okay, echoing. So this is interesting. I feel like right now, with what they're saying, is the way Elemental works is it kind of feels like you do nothing, you do nothing, you do nothing, use a spender, and that's where you're getting all your flavor from. So what I'm seeing from this is that Elemental Shamans, oh, fuck me. Elemental Shamans are going to feel more useful outside of just pressing Earthshock. But you can still get those Earthshocks. You can Earthshock more frequently before your fulmination stacks are up, or you can choose to Earthshock less frequently and build up fulmination to Earthshock harder, which seems like an interesting, seems fine to me. I don't know. Echoing Shock is a new talent that blasts a target for significant damage. It makes the shaman's next healing or damage spell cast a second time shortly afterward without costing additional resources. Interesting. Echoing Shock. So this seems really cool, just in the fact that it's been a very long time since we've had a new type of shock, and it makes it so that the shaman's next healing or damage spell casts a second time. So you could actually Echoing Shock and then use a defensive mechanic, aka healing. This is something that, just adds utility to your class's toolkit, doesn't need to be done, which we like to see. The Maelstrom resource and the Maelstrom bar have been removed from enhancement, which is interesting because I actually didn't necessarily think it was a problem for enhancement, but let's see what they have to say. Enhancement will return to specialization based on managing a number of cooldown abilities with high points built around repeat casts of Storm Strike. So Storm Strike is not returning to what I would consider its former glory of doing a ton of damage. I also am looking at enhancement right now, and I see that for every other DPS spec in the game, they are saying that you can now use two-handed weapons. Every spec that couldn't use two-handed weapons is able to use two-handed weapons now, except like rogues. They didn't want to give that back to an enhancement. I wonder why. In Shadowlands, enhanced shaman who chain certain abilities in combat will see their efforts rewarded when the time is right and the elements will it, with the capacity of unleashing a powerful cooldown dealing devastating damage. Maelstrom weapon returns. Oh, that's stacks. Giving each attack a chance to grant a stack of the buff that can be used to make your next healing or damage spell instant. Flame Tongue weapon and Wind Fury weapon can once be... Wow. They actually brought back weapon imbuements. Enhanced shaman weapon imbuing them with the power. Is that like... is that actually a good thing? Like, I'm not trying to say I'm upset about it, and it probably is a good thing. I guess we're happy about that. Okay. I mean, I feel like Wind Fury is literally iconic to the enhanced shaman class, so I think we're pretty happy about that. Passive bonus provided by Hailstorm has been redesigned so that it resets the cooldown Flame Shock and Frost Shock when a shaman uses Storm Strike. Searing Assault metamorphosizes into a powerful fire attack, striking the force for significant fire damage. Causes their Searing Totem to cast incredibly fast. Also, it triggers Flame Shock to rapidly dish out its damage over time. Oh, interesting. This seems insane. Oh, Searing Assault, okay. Okay, these seem like pretty crazy talents. Overcharge now generates 5 stacks of Maelstrom weapon instantly, and another stack every second for a short duration. I'm not 100% sure how this is going to work. Overcharge was like with Lightning Bolt or something. But in PvP, this seems like a pretty good, you know, option where you can literally just 5-stack Maelstrom weapon for heal or whatever. Stormkeeper for enhancement. Interesting. Instant cast and bonus damage. It also benefits Maelstrom weapon, lowering Stormkeeper's cast time for the enhanced Shaman. Wow. So you could actually like maybe play like a range-ish kind of spec here. Where yeah. Wait, really? This is all I see for Resto? I'm not even there yet, and I just see one line for Resto. Holy fuck, I'm gonna dome myself. Elemental Blast talent option for Enhanced Shaman, giving a melee focus spec access to a powerful spell to destroy foes from a distance. It also benefits from Maelstrom weapon effects, which can reduce its cast time or even cause it to become instant. Pretty cool. I like what I see for Enhance. I like what I see for Elemental. You know, we got all this right here. And then let's go over Restoration. Once Restoration step into the realm of the Ancestral Spirits, glad to know that in Blizzard's mind, Resto Shamans are already dead, being in the Spirit Realm. You'll find new ways to tap into the elemental powers. Earth Shield can now be used by all Restoration Shaman without needing to select into it as a talent. That's wonderful. Surge of the Earth is a new talent that expands a few charges of Earth Shield to significantly heal the current Earth Shield target and several nearby allies. That sounds powerful. I want to see more. This is obviously not enough to satisfy me. So overall, since Shaman is my main, I'm going to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it. I'm happy to have Searing Totem back. I'm happy to have Frost Shock back. I don't know if I care about Lightning Shield or not. I miss Water Shield, if I'm being honest. But I think the main thing I want to see here is, besides more stuff for the actual Resto, the Resto side of things, is Grounding Totem should be baseline, in my opinion. I feel like a lot of classes are getting those baseline abilities back. I think Grounding really should be one of them. So we'll have to see. Alright, Warlocks and Warriors, the last two we have here. When designing Warlocks for Shadowlands, we had a few core goals. As a part of our effort to distinguish classes as a whole, we're bringing back curses that Warlocks can use as proactive situational tools, satisfying to use in special cases, but not something they should feel obligated to use when fighting every single enemy. Abilities like Demonic Circle offer unique ways to interact with the world and combat spaces. Spec-wise, we're making relatively minimal changes to Demonology and Destruction. Ooh, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like Demonology is a little clunky right now. I can't really say that for sure, but just from a PvP standpoint, I feel like it's a little bit clunky. Maybe it's not. I feel like Destruction seems fine in my opinion, but not so much. Their core rotation of talents, options, fit, and gold challenge. With Affliction, we're making larger changes to bring the specializations gameplay more towards managing damage over time effects rather than saving up for major burst moments. Wow. So this is fantastic news for Affliction Warlocks. I can't remember the last time I read it, but I think someone said in my chat, make Affliction Warlock a rot class, not a burst class. Like, you know, you want to feel like with Affliction, you're killing multiple people at the same time. You're keeping dots up, not just UA. Oh, you dispelled 5 UAs, you took 4,000 damage, you got silenced for 1 second, and all my damage is gone while I'm getting railed. Lame. So I'm glad to see that Affliction is hopefully going back to what I would like to call its former glory. All Affliction Warlocks will be able to afflict their toes with Curse of Tongues, Curse of Recklessness, Curse of Weakness, and Curse of Doom. Warlocks can manipulate space with Demonic Circle. So every Warlock now is Demonic Circle, and every Warlock has curses. Fantastic change. And it's not just one curse, it's many curses. You can choose to slow down cast time. You can choose to reduce armor. Is that what that does? I'm not 100% sure. You can choose to reduce melee damage. You can choose to possibly do big damage with Curse of Doom. That's 4 options right off the bat. It's not just like, yo, we're giving Warlocks curses back. Curse of Tongues, Curse of Weakness. No, they're getting multiple options. I like to see it. Demonic Circle coming back baseline. I like to see it. Demonic Circle is just a fantastic ability in my opinion. Very happy about that. I wouldn't be happy about it right now with the current situation with Destro Warlocks, but, you know, moving in the future with the possibility of, you know, better balancing and stuff, I think that's a great change. Tongue-Tied is a new talent that empowers spells lobbed at the target suffering from Curse of Tongues. What? That empowers spells lobbed at targets suffering from Curse of Tongues. I'm a little confused by this. Causing them to seal the victim from receiving, whoa, healing effects, forcing them to succumb to all incoming damage for a moderate amount of time. What the hell? That empowers spells lobbed at targets suffering from Curse of Tongues. So is this just like, it makes you immune to healing for a small amount of time? That's kind of insane. It's literally Necrotic Strike. I think it's probably better than Necrotic Strike. It's literally a 100% Mortal Strike. This sounds like an ability that can be really good or really bad. If it's a short duration, like a short enough duration with a reasonable cooldown, and you kind of use it to prevent healing for, I would say, anything over, like 3 seconds seems like a stretch. 2 seconds seems, it sounds really crazy, but I feel like you want to do this like on a big heal. Reread it. That empowers spells lobbed at targets suffering from Curse of Tongues. Am I not quite understanding what that means? Causing them to seal the victim from receiving healing effects. Oh, it's a multi-target MS? Oh, because you could keep Cursed Tongues on multiple targets? Is that what it is? I'm curious to see how this works out. It sounds like a cool idea. And right now, my biggest thing is we need flavor in the game. And we need, oh, it sounds like Shadow Bolt does 3k damage, absorbs 3k healing. Okay. Oh, so it's actually, okay. Oh, that makes more sense. That actually sounds really, really cool. I don't think it should work on dots, maybe. Unless it's like the initial application damage. But it sounds like a mini MS for Affliction Warlocks. Mortal Strike effect. So if you put a corruption on a target with Curse of Tongues and that corruption does 3k damage, it absorbs 3k healing. Now if it works on every single dot tick, that could be crazy. Maybe there's a world where that's fine. But I feel like it says lobbed at targets, which makes me, it sounds like casted. Now this sounds really crazy for a Destro Warlock that's going to hit you for 100k and absorb 100,000 healing. Interesting ability. I like the way it sounds. I think cool abilities and a fun aspect need to come over balancing. Let the game be fun. Balance it after. Unstable Affliction sacrifices its stacking effort to torture its victims longer, and all without consuming a soul shard. I'm going to tell you what right now, chap. I feel like Affliction, Unstable Affliction, casting a soul shard has been the bane of this spec for a very long time. It worked out for Destro. For Destro, having the Chaos Shard or the Shard generation and being able to cast multiple bolts felt fine. Because you were coming from a world where you casted one Chaos Bolt on a cooldown to being able to dump out multiple Chaos Bolts and rebuild them and so on and so forth. Unstable Affliction is literally about getting your dots up and UAing that guy, UAing that guy, UAing, you know what I mean? Getting multiple UAs up. Alright? And then on top of that, they decided that Unstable Affliction should no longer be a rot spec. It should be kind of like a bursty spec where you kind of can do a lot of single target pressure. That's what Destro does. Let Affliction do what it wants to do and rot people. So I'm really happy to see this. I'm not sure what the shards are even going to be used for in this circumstance, but I feel like Affliction no longer stacking, but doing more damage, you know, lasting longer, is a fantastic step in the right direction. I'm not an Affliction Warlock main, so maybe you guys feel different from me. And not having to worry about the Soul Shard, meaning you can put it up at any time. Wonderful news. Affliction Warlocks can I don't even know what this is. Exacerbate the malice they sow by the Malefic Rapture, a new ability that deals damage to all enemies afflicted by their periodic spells. Increase for each periodic spell on the target. I like this ability right here. Just reading it. So basically, deal damage to all enemies afflicted by your spells, and it increases more for each spell on the target. So it's literally like, if you have like, you know, 3 sets of dots on 3 people and you press that button, all 3 of those people with 3 sets of dots take however much damage they wanted to. That sounds good. You're rewarded for having more dots out. And yeah, it's AoE Haunt. Oh, wonderful. Sounds like a fun spell. Perfect. New talents will be available for Affliction Warlocks to more effectively drain away the life of their victims. Sow the Seeds will now embed 2 additional seeds into the nearby enemies. Combined with the new Malefic Rapture, can make for explosive results. No idea what that means. Could be cool. I like what I see for Affliction, but like I said, this is the bare bones of Shadowlands, and most of what I'm reading, I'm really liking it, but I still want more. You know what I'm saying? I still want more. I can't wait to see more of the talents. I can't wait to see more of the design philosophies. But I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't think I'm upset with anything. I don't want to say I'm upset with anything I see here. Some stuff I would like to see more. Some stuff has less than other. But I really feel like, and this is probably, you know, you guys can disagree with me here. We're always excited for new WoW expansions, but I really feel like there's a chance that Shadowlands can hit the mark, like, tremendously, just based off class design alone. Dark Pact will now scale with spell power to deal more damage than ever before. Demonology Warlocks will also discover that the Dark Fury talent has a new effect in addition to the cooldown reduction it provides. It empowers Shadow Fury by increasing the area effect as the spell crashes down. No idea what that means. Fire and Brimstone's getting upgraded in Shadowlands. It also generates 2 Soul Shard fragments for each additional enemy stuff. I don't know what that means. I don't know. Some AoE shit. Very excited to see the Warrior stuff. Warrior was actually my main at level 60. Heavy armor, wielding brutal weapons. It's often forgot that warriors are also hybrids, equally adept in dealing damage and protecting their allies on the front line. We want to restore the utility to all 3 warrior specializations by bringing back many iconic abilities that are useful across the game. In addition, several talents have undergone revision to each spec to increase build diversity and gameplay variety. So general changes for all specs. I'm not sure. Is this for Prot? So Execute's gone. Hamstring, I think, was gone for Fury. Oh, excuse me. Execute is for every spec. I think it was gone for Prot. Hamstring was gone for Fury, possibly Prot. Ignore Pain is for every single specialization. I have no idea how that works, but I'm pretty sure Ignore Pain's insane for Prot. This might give Arms Warriors and Fury Warriors great survivability. Shield Block, I'm not sure how good that's going to be. Shield Slam, I'm not sure how good that's going to be. Spell Reflect as a baseline is great to see. Also, keep in mind that that's currently an honor talent, and it's kind of one of the things I want to see work with Grounding Totem. I want Grounding Totem to be a baseline for all 3, so just, you know, if they could do it for Spell Reflect, they could do it for Grounding. But I wonder if they're actually going to put a big emphasis on maybe Warriors when they D-up actually putting a shield on. So right now, when you D-up as a Warrior, you just say, I'm in D. I take 20% less damage. But what if you take 20% less damage and then you actually have a shield on and you start Ignore Painting and you start shield blocking and then you actually could counter pressure a little bit with Shield Slam? Maybe there's a world we live in where you actually want to put a shield on as a warrior again, which could be interesting. Whirlwind's now also available to all warriors. I don't actually know if that... I don't know which it's available to right now and which not. Challenging Shout and Intervene are returning. Intervene is an awesome ability. There's huge outplay with Intervene. There's like literally if you're standing in a certain spot and you need to gap close, you're getting pummeled by ranged and you have no charge, you have no leap, your warrior's at a pillar, intervene back. If you're trying to intervene saps off blind, this is something that people have done since Burning Crusade. As long as there has been blind sap, there has been intervene to intervene the sap. It's an incredible ability that gives you a ton of outplay. It gives you mobility. You can intervene back to your healer and eat traps and things like that. It's a fantastic change. I'm really happy to see it. All warriors can use them to turn the tide of the battle. Shattering Throw is also back. I'm also happy to see this. I think this is something that gave warriors a little bit of an edge versus mages and paladins with bop and bubble and ice block. Literally the only... it was like the only thing it was actually insane against. Maybe it still actually gives you like an armor reduction. It used to give like an armor reduction. With a new twist, it will deal devastating damage against foes. Oh, wow. It'll deal a lot of damage. Okay. Double time and War Machine can now be utilized. I don't know if that's good at all. Piercing Howl can be used by arms warriors, giving them another way to step in to stop enemies in their tracks. I think this is a fantastic add to arms. In some situations, you might not need it because you have hamstring. But in some situations, when you just can't get in melee range, having Piercing Howl is an incredible option. It looks like it's just baseline. It doesn't even say talent. So you literally just have a range slow and you have a melee slow. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think that's a great change. Cleave has been redesigned. After striking 3 targets, the whirlwind warriors can use Cleave to strike all enemies in front of a warrior. Deadly Calm talent has also been redesigned. Completely remove the rage cost next 4 abilities. And crew warrior maximum rage. Dreadnought now takes out the seismic wave as a trait. I don't really know any of that, man. I'm gonna be honest. New talent as Fury, where the warrior loses himself to their bloodthirst during whirlwind and also slams their primary target and gains additional rage. Warriors also be able to learn onslaught, in which an enraged warrior brutally attacks an enemy for a large amount of damage, generates some rage. I don't really know. I'm sorry, I don't really know too much about it. Frothing Berserking redesigned. Now when a warrior reaches 100 rage, they gain haste and movement speed over a few seconds. Wrecking Ball returns as a talent, which gives a warrior a moderate chance the next whirlwind to deal a devastating amount of damage. It seems really random in RNG. Wasn't raged the first time. Okay, so I don't even really care to go over prod if I'm being honest. Wow, that was a lot. That was a lot. I feel like that took a really long time to read. Alright, let me just... There's more. I know there's more with the covenants. I'm just catching my breath right now. Melee survival. It's something. Oh wow, that's interesting too. They don't like void form. One hand fury. Another boring expansion for marksmaners. I don't really know the ins and outs of every spec, especially hunters, so I can't really say much, but I feel like I want to say very satisfied. I didn't expect Blizzard to do a bad job when they said, listen, you know, we fucked up, this is what we want to do, this is what we're gonna do. I didn't expect them to do a bad job, but I would still like to see, you know, more iconic abilities possibly come back. I mean, still alpha. I would like to see really awesome talents. I don't know. I feel like I would give this like a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I'm going to go over the Covenant abilities in a second here, guys. I'm literally just trying to relax for a second. And I believe it or not, I actually do have to run an ad. I'm supposed to do 1 an hour, and it's been like essentially 2 hours. So I'm just going to shove an ad real quick. What do you think will be the strong specs in Shadowlands? It's really hard to say, but I mean, Affliction looks like it's getting you know, that flavor back that's been missing. What looks really strong? Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like we haven't really seen enough yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, Warriors Enhanced. Yeah, I mean, Turbo could be good. I don't actually know, man. Resto Druid seems nutty. Oh wait, I heard Resto Druid's getting... Why didn't I see that? I heard Resto Druid's getting Symbiosis back. Is it a lie? Oh, is that a Covenant? Motherfucker, man.